Welcome back to the channel, friends. Today I want to talk to you about something really exciting, and that is the Trading 212 card. Now I know I might be a little bit late to that topic because obviously the card already came out a couple of months ago, but it was actually rolled out in phases and I was about to get it. I actually relocated to the UAE and therefore also moved my Trading 212 account to the UAE, and unfortunately at this stage they're not available with the card in the UAE yet. You can use Trading 212, of course, amazing broker. I made a number of videos about them in the past, and obviously I can really recommend them. Great broker, and the fact that they now have the card is super exciting. I was really excited to try it out myself and show you obviously how it works. But yeah, unfortunately it's still not available in the UAE. But still, since so many people asked me my thoughts on the card in this video, I just want to go through the website, explain you what the card is, how it works, and share with you my feedback, whether it's worthwhile getting it or not. And of course, as soon as I finally will get the hands on the card myself, I will definitely do a deep dive tutorial. But for now, let's focus on the main things the card is offering. Right, so here we are on the Trading 212 website, and honestly, yeah, it's really nice. I was actually a long time waiting for more stockbrokers to come out with cards, right? The first one to really do so was probably Revolut, and the rest, they don't really have cards. But I think, people are really happy to have a stockbroker, but now you get also interest on your cash, so why not also have a card to spend that cash while it sits there waiting to be invested? It really makes it a complete app. Anyway, so now I'm really happy that Trading 212, one of my favorite brokers, definitely has such an option in place. You can see the revolutionary 212 card over here. And honestly, one of the standout features, and we'll come to this obviously later on in the video as well, but no FX fee, meaning no foreign exchange fee. That's really unique. Now, a lot of cards say that, but actually, when you look at the fine print, there's always going to be some hidden charges. And as you'll see over here, well, I couldn't really find too many hidden charges. It's really truly unique, and they also call it the true interbank, right? Normally we talk about the mid-bank exchange rate, and they also differentiate it later to explain the difference. We'll look at that as well, and therefore no spread markups. So that's basically the difference between the bid and ask price, right? You have to imagine the same when you buy a stock, cryptocurrency, foreign exchange. There's always going to be a bid price and an ask price, right? So the different prices for someone to sell a stock and someone to buy the stock, right? So that's always a little gap over there. And well, the issue is some of those gaps are much bigger and others are much tighter. That's what we call a tight spread. And here they basically remove the spread completely, because often that's like a back door, right? They say it's commission free. Let's say stockbrokers can also be commission free, but they charge you a hefty spread. So very quick example, let's say €1 would give you $1.2, right? That would be the exact market rate that you would get if you type it into Google. That's the current market rate. Now your app, bank, whatever you use to exchange your currency says, well, we don't charge any commissions on foreign currency exchange. Sounds amazing. But then when you actually really do the exchange, instead of getting for the €1, $1.20, you would only get, let's say, $1.18. So you can see there's no exchange fee involved as such, right? But the spread is much higher, meaning you get less money for the money you should be getting in reality. So that's what we call a spread. And that's really important to consider when looking at those different decisions and which bank or broker you go with. Right, but back to the card over here. Obviously, here they really highlight very clearly what you're getting with this card. And honestly, I really like it. It has a lot of good things going for it. Now, first of all, it is a debit card. So if you need a credit card, well, then unfortunately it won't be for you. But I think there is still a place for debit cards. Most of my life, to be honest, I mostly had debit cards, and I like debit cards because I only like to spend money that I really have, right? Now, having moved to Dubai, obviously here, people really like the credit cards for points and other things. And one thing I do realize is this purchase protection, right? If you make a purchase, it's much easier to claim your money back. With a debit card, if you made a payment, it's very difficult to get your money back. So, there are some perks to having credit cards, but in this case, it is a debit card. But personally, I think there's nothing wrong with this. As mentioned already, 0 FX fee. True interbank rate, really cool. Then they also have currently a promotion, 1.5% cashback until 1st of January 2025. Afterwards, it's 0.5%. So obviously on that note, I have to mention that previously, I think they only did it until October. So they extended it until January. So maybe they'll extend it again. Maybe not. Nobody knows. But obviously it's a promotional offer. But definitely it's still attractive, 1.5%. And afterwards, it will be 0.5%. So even 0.5%, honestly, is really good, right? That you only get on Revolut with some paid plans, not on the free plan. So for many cards, you don't even get that on the free plan. Here, you don't pay any subscription to get that card. That's really what I love about it. No monthly fee to get even that card. So for that to get 0.5%, really quite attractive. Now, one thing to keep in mind though, it's limited up to 20 pounds, I believe, or probably equivalent euros, I suppose, but up to a total of 20 pounds of monthly cashback or equivalent currency. That's what you'll get. It's paid out to your account on a daily basis, which is really good in contrary to Revolut, where they only paid once a month. And another cool thing is that you still get a nice juicy interest rate while your money sits there waiting to be spent. And that's really attractive. You see here right now on your pounds, 4.9%. So of course, euros is a bit less because, the ECB, their interest rate is lower, but still 3.7% beats most other banks I've seen out there. And obviously we've seen the interest rates coming down, but out of all of them, I still think that Trading 212 pays the highest interest rate on your money. So even while it sits there waiting to be invested, you'll get that money. And that's really, really nice. I love that. And of course, you can check all other interest rates here for different currencies as well. Polish zloty, 6%. So that seems quite attractive. But yeah, you can go through and see what makes sense for you. In total, you can keep 13 major currencies. And a lot of people think, well, if I have only 13 currencies, if I travel to countries outside of it, well, that doesn't really serve me any purpose. And that's exactly the point. It means you can hold them, you can convert your base currency to that currency and have almost like a own bank account, right? Really, really cool. But even if you go to a country where this currency is not supported, you will just spend in your local currency and it will do the transaction for you in real time for the best price without any markup or any FX fee. So that's still possible, right? So it doesn't mean you can only have those 13 currencies to spend your money in. It means you can actually hold it. On top of it, you can spend it in pretty much any currency out there. And as I mentioned, best of all, it's free. There's no monthly subscription. There's no different levels like with Revolut, where you then have to think which plan to go for, how much I spend. I spend currently, I think, 45 euros a month for my Revolut Ultra plan. And turns out I get a worse exchange fee than with Trading 212 card. So that really food for thought, whether in the future I might actually pivot back over here. Of course, I wouldn't mind having a slightly higher tier with Trading 212 where you get perks like airport lounge access and so forth. But as a free base tier, honestly, it's really hard to beat. And one note to mention, if you do get the physical card, obviously ATM withdrawals are free up to £400 a month. And afterwards is 1% of the fee that you're taking out, which is honestly really expensive. But sadly, the same is true with my Revolut account on the Ultra plan. Now you may ask yourself, how does it actually look in reality if I do some exchange? Well, they also have a nice calculator on the website where can easily run the numbers for you. So if you were to exchange, let's say €1,000 to pounds, you would get right now with Trading 212 with the card, if you're spending it live or doing the exchange on the app, £828.41. I really like how they compared to the different options that you could also go with, right? And obviously I'm using Revolut myself. I also talked about Wise, which is also a great product. But, well, you see here the difference in terms of what you would be getting, right? With Revolut Ultra, you can see over here in pounds, it's £55 even. Obviously, there's no FX exchange fee, which is great. But then they do have a markup, right? Because they have now their own Revolut-specific FX fee calculation. It's really hard to follow what it exactly is. But you see here, it's already £1.16 less. So already you're losing out. And obviously, the larger the amounts get, the bigger the deviation, right? Even less with Wise. And then on Revolut also, on some of the lower plans, even less, right? On the standard plan, if you compare apple to apple, standard is the free plan from Revolut, well, then you would be really hit because you're going to have the 1% FX fee. And then obviously you're going to get almost £10 less. That's crazy. So if I now go all the way to, let's say, €5,000, you go on a lavish holiday, spend a bit more, well, then all of a sudden you see quite a major difference over here. For the Revolut standard plan, which is apple to apple, £47 less. Absolutely unbelievable, right? Obviously on the Ultra plan, still less. The difference not that huge, but still, you're going to be paying £55. So technically you would have to add it up together. Yeah, in that way, honestly, I don't see anyone beating Trading 212 right now when it comes to exchange rates. Really, really competitive. And they compare it to even more banks out there that offer currency conversion. You see here Revolut, Wise, Monzo, Chase. You can compare to all of them. And obviously here you can also switch to different plans, whatever you're on. Obviously you see the different FX fees. And then one big problem with Revolut is their weekend FX fee. And let's be honest, if you go on a short trip somewhere, it's usually a weekend trip, right? And you're going to be hit with the 1% surcharge, regardless on which plan you're on. Even me, on the highest plan, still going to be hit with a 1% FX fee. And even sometimes, I don't know when I'm out Friday night, does it already start the weekend or not? You think about it. In the end, I ended up not using my Revolut card because I was worried that they're going to charge me for that. So for that, really, once again, Trading 212, is really leading the pack. So honestly, well done for removing that weekend surcharge, because why would you do that, right? It's just such a painful thing to have. So really, really kudos to Trading212 for removing that. And here we have the ATM withdrawal fees. For Revolut, they're going to charge 2% after the monthly limit. Yes, on the Ultra plan is £2,000, but afterwards it's way higher percentage, right? And that's on the Ultra plan. If I go back once again to the standard to compare apple to apple, well, it's only £200. So also less than the free plan of Trading212, and then once again the 2% is just crazy. Also, as I said before, the interest on GBP or this euro, you can check pretty much all of them. None of them is anywhere near Trading212. As well with cashback, okay, here they say 1.5%, but obviously it will then come down to 0.5%. And well, once again, here I'm on the free Revolut plan, there's zero cashback. The same for the Wise plan, zero cashback. And of course, the cool thing is it also works as a virtual card. So you can just literally add it to your Apple Pay or Google Pay with a click of a button. You pay for it, it immediately takes the money out of your Trading212 account. You get the cashback. So it's super seamless, super easy. And personally, I hardly ever use physical cards anymore. And even now you have most ATMs also working with the virtual card to get cash out of the ATM, because I never carry a wallet with me, right? So it's really nice that they integrate so seamlessly with the different options over there. And yeah, honestly, really sleek. That's how it should be. Sadly, I can't test it right now, but obviously it seems to be working with quite a few people who reported really good feedback about that. That's basically how it looks. You see here, obviously, how much cashback you earned on today's purchase. It will show you also the total cashback earned, similar to the way it does with interest, which is also very sleek, very straightforward. The same, they handle the cashback over here. So honestly speaking, looking at all the various debit cards out there in Europe right now, I would probably have to place Trading212 at the top of the pile, even compared to my Revolut card. Now granted, obviously with my Ultra card, I do get other perks like airport lounge access and what have you, but that's not really fair to compare it, because on that plan, I'm paying over 500 euros a year, right? That's crazy. If I compare it to the free plan, it completely demolishes the Revolut free plans. So honestly, if you're already using Trading212 or you're considering to sign up to use them for maybe also investment purposes, I really recommend you take the card. It's free of charge unless you order the physical card, which I believe is like £5 or euros. They mail it to you. That's fine. Otherwise, just have the virtual card, which works perfectly fine with Apple Pay as well. And especially if you travel, I think it's really unbeatable option right now, because no FX fee and no markup on the exchange rate itself is just unheard of, right? Hardly any card I know has such a good rate offering and low cost of rate exchange. And previously, I thought Revolut was by far the best in that department. But honestly, I think we have a new sheriff in town. Trading212, hats off to you. Really amazing job. Can't wait to get my hands on the card once it finally also comes over here to UAE. And if you want to check it out and try out Trading212 for yourself, then use my link down in the description below. Then you'll also get a free fractional share valued up to £100 or euros to get you started. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a like. It helps the video to be seen by more people. And if you still have any questions, pop them in the comments down below. Happy to hear from you. Next up, check out this video over here. As always, thanks a lot for watching. Stay healthy, get wealthy, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.